What's up everybody, it's Seth from Fowler Customs, and today I'm reviewing the Nikelab Triple Black Vapormax. Thanks so much for tuning in today guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet, but with all that being said, let's get into it. So when Nike first dropped the Vapormax online, they dropped it in two different colors, this platinum color and then the OG color they call it, which is basically the same exact colorway except with red accents instead of white. However, in a few retail locations, Nike also released the triple black Nikelab version. Now, as I'm sure most of you know, Nike really hyped up the Vapormax almost too much to a point where it was supposed to be the second coming, which it's not. I don't overly love the shoe, but I definitely don't hate it. But with that huge marketing push behind it, there was a really good chance that the original colorways were going to sell out. And of course, you know, whenever Nike makes a limited edition of a shoe, especially one that's already pretty hyped up, it can become really tough to grab. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that this looks bigger than most of the shoes that I usually review, and that's because it's a size 11.5, and the reason I grabbed an 11.5 is because this was the only size they had left, and to be honest, I just really love the way the shoe looked, and I really wish that I had been able to grab my size in this colorway just because I like it better. I think it's cleaner, but this was the only size they had left at Nike Soho when I went, so I couldn't pass it up. And now we're here. Just to let you know, this video is going to be more of a colorway review because I've already done an overall review of the Nike Vapormax yesterday, which you can check out in the link at the top of the screen. But as usual, before we get into the review of the shoe itself, let's take a look at the box. So the box itself is pretty minimal. A majority of it is white, but you've also got this iridescent silver swoosh and these sort of dot wave patterns. I'm not exactly sure how to describe them, but they look pretty nice, so I can't complain. You've got Vapormax written on either side in that same iridescent silver. Also, if you're interested, the Nikelab version of the box is exactly the same as the regular version of the box. So, I mean, if the box is important to you and you don't have the Nikelab version, you're not really missing anything. Of course, on the front, you've got the size tag. And like I said before, I did get an 11.5. And if you're wondering about fit, the Vapormax fits pretty much true to size. It does fit very narrow though, so if you have a narrow foot, go true to size. If you don't and have a more wide foot, I would really suggest trying the shoe on first before you grab it. But if you can't, it probably wouldn't hurt to go up half a size because, like I said, it's really narrow. The official name for this colorway is the Nikelab Air Vapormax Flyknit, and the official colorway is black, black, black. Big surprise there. And even though the black pair was a special edition, it still retailed at the same price point as the regular pairs, 190 bucks. So without further ado, here it is, the Nikelab Triple Black Vapormax. As I said in my original review of the Vapormax, I really don't love the look of the silhouette. I think it's a little bit weird, but I'm really glad Nike came out with the triple black version because this looks a lot cleaner in my opinion. Starting off the shoe, you've got the full Flyknit upper with a looser knit on the toe box for breathability, and then the knit gets tighter as you move towards the back of the shoe. Even though this is a triple black colorway, you do have some hits of gray around the edge of the toe and throughout the knit. In my opinion, that gives the shoe a more premium look and a little bit more depth rather than just being completely black, in which case it would just look like, you know, any triple black Nike model. From a distance, up close, still pretty weird looking. Moving back on the shoe, you've got your black flywire that holds these laces in place. As with the standard Vapormax, you still have fuse overlays around the high wear areas of the shoe, especially in the heel where it gives a lot of support. The difference here though is that rather than being clear like the standard version, it's actually a totally opaque matte black, which in my opinion looks pretty good. I actually wouldn't have minded it being clear because, you know, obviously the knit is black, so it still would have had a similar effect. Maybe they were trying to make it look a little bit more subtle by making it a dull matte rather than sort of a glossy clear. I'm not sure the reasoning behind it, but I don't mind it. The Nike Check is actually a slightly lighter shade, making it more of a dark gray, and that's because it's got 3M in it, so when you hit it with a flash, it reflects really brightly and actually looks white in pictures. Moving around to the heel of the shoe, you've got more of that black fuse overlay with 3M Nike Vapormax text. The ankle collar and tongue are probably the lightest shade of gray on the shoe, and then on the tongue, you've also got this dark gray and then darker gray Nike logo. Inside the shoe, you've got a black Nike insole and then your Nike Vapormax text in a slightly lighter shade of gray. As I said in my other review, the upper is very similar to the Flyknit Racer, so if you've tried that shoe on before, you pretty much know what you're getting yourself into. Also, because the upper is almost 100% Flyknit, it's super breathable, and you can do this, which is fun. Moving down the shoe, you've got the Vapormax's most innovative feature, and that is, of course, these crazy air units. The midsole is essentially just a couple different TPU plates that hold the air units onto the upper. There's really not much there, so basically when you stand in the shoe, you're standing pretty much entirely on these air units. It's definitely comfortable, but in my opinion, it's not as comfortable as Boost. I also found it a little unstable in certain areas, in particular the medial side of the heel. So when I was running or walking, it kind of felt too squishy on this side, and there was a couple couple instances where I almost felt like I was gonna roll my ankle. I'd take that with a grain of salt though, because everyone walks differently. I could just have really weird foot strikes, I'm not sure, but for me, I wasn't a huge fan of the cushioning, so just something to keep in mind. The air units themselves are of course black. They look opaque, but actually when you hold them up to a light, you can sort of see through them. And finally, moving to the bottom of the shoe, you've got these stiffer plastic areas in matte black that add more durability and support. Overall, I actually really like this shoe. If you're interested in a more in-depth performance review and just total overview of the shoe, make sure to check out my other video. There'll be a link in the description below. But to be honest, I wish Nike had just made this colorway a general release because it's so clean and I just prefer it so much more to the regular colorway. It's just a bummer that I can't get it in my size. That's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you think of the triple black Nikelab Vapormax and if you're planning to grab a pair for yourself. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to Fowler Customs if you want to see more content just like this, and follow Fowler Customs on Snups, Instagram, and on Twitter.